everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Samantha Anderson. I am a freelance artist and teacher hoping to inspire creativity. If you would like more videos like these, please take a second to like and subscribe down below. It really helps in the algorithm of YouTube to help get my videos seen to more people. If you want to receive notifications of when I go live, please make sure to hit the bell and choose all notifications. If you have any questions during or after the class, make sure to pop a comment down below and I will answer it as soon as I can. I'll be leaving timestamps down below so you can skip ahead to the start of class, but I will be sharing announcements as well as supplies, so make sure to stick around for that. If interested in learning more about my classes, please follow me on Facebook and Instagram, and feel free to check me out on Patreon where I teach exclusive classes to those who support me. In Patreon, I also give traceables for all of my live classes, including this one. Lastly, if you would like to share your work after class with me and others who painted along with us, please head over to Facebook as I have an artist community where you can share your finished painting with us. I'll leave links for all of that in the description box below. Thanks for joining me, and let's get started. Hello everyone. Welcome back to another live class. We are painting this awesome wolf today as a part of our Out of This World series. Yeah, welcome in. Let me know you're here. Comment below. Many of you have asked if I am pre-painting my canvas, and I am not. Obviously, I have a white canvas here. But I thought about it, and I thought about, messaging everybody ahead of time and being like, hey, we're going to pre-paint it. But the reason for this, the reason that I'm not doing this is because we would have to do minimum of 2 coats of color on our wolf to get that bright color, probably close to 3 coats, just because painting that type of color, especially the yellows and the oranges on a black canvas, is really, those colors tend to be a little bit more see-through and just harder to get that vibrant, bright color on a black canvas. So that is the reason why we are not doing that. So we will actually be pre-painting the outer edge black. And the other option is that if you don't want to paint it over twice, you can just do a very dark outline. We'll be painting all of our color. You'll still be able to see the black line, and then we'll be painting the outside black. So it's kind of up to you, like like when you want to do things. But yeah, that's the reasoning why I'm not pre-painting it, because I really want that bright white to be behind that color, so I only have to do 1, maybe 2 coats of that color, because there's going to be some bright colors here, and then most of this is bright with the exception of the wolf and then some of our foliage down at the bottom. So yeah, that's the reasoning for that. I know a lot of you were asking about that. Just some housekeeping. I do have a traceable, just like always, in my Patreon. Let me go ahead, and I think I already posted it. Yep, it's a pinned comment in the chat, as well as it's literally whenever you have a link to this class, most likely it'll be in the same post. So on Facebook, in the event, on when I pre-post it, it's going to be linked, as well as if you do want it, it is going to be in the description of this video. So there's that. If you do not have it and you would like to draw it, go for it. It's a pretty easy outline. You essentially have an oval that you take in here. You can do a U and then define it from there. You have the circle. You can do something easy, get something that's roughly the size, the inside of a tape roll. You can get a cup, anything that's round, you can use for the size of your moon. And even if it's not the exact size, let's say, okay, this is roughly the same size, but I want it to be a little bit bigger, you can do like the circle of it and then just freehand it like a centimeter bigger. Like, it doesn't have to be the exact size you want, but get something roughly the size, and then you just do a small circle. For the moon, I will say, you can probably guess at the at how you can't really see it. I did do it very light because all of the rest of these colors are going to be able to color up that graphite of the pencil fairly easily. But the white and that light color might not be able to cover it up. So I wanted to make sure that I did a little bit lighter. So yeah, there's that. And then after, sorry, I was looking for my water. Okay, and then after you do that, essentially you're just gonna have a line. This is the water line. The water line can really be anywhere you want. I put it in like the lower third. So if you take this into thirds, right, in thirds, it's going to be including the ears. So you have this and the bottom. It's roughly that third. And then you have the mountains. You don't really need to pre-draw the mountains. You can just place those in whenever you need to. But I just kind of did it because it was there. And then you have your little wolf. It's pretty much just a straight line with some details. So do your best. It doesn't have to be perfect. Everybody's gonna know what it is at this point. But for the outline, I would just make sure to have some kind of, some fur coming off the edge of it. It kind of just gives it a little bit of interest rather than just like a straight line. And then have it come to a point. And that's pretty much it. I already have my traceable on here, so I'm not going to go through exactly how to do it, but take the time you need. If you need to pause this video, you can, regardless of when it's live. Even right now, you can pause it. You'll just be like behind however much time you pause it from the actual live, so just keep that in mind, that if you do pause it and you don't scroll ahead to catch up, that if you ask a question, there's going to be quite a delay, because I won't get it until 10 minutes after, and then 10 minutes after that you'll receive it. So you'll receive the answer. Okay, if you have any questions, please make sure to comment below. I will get to them as soon as I can. But yeah, I'm excited to paint. So there's that. I'm using an 11 by 14 canvas. You can use whatever you want. In my Patreon, I always have two sizes of traceables. I have an 11 by 14 and then a 9 by 12. All of the 9 by 12s, for the most part, this would included fit on a normal piece of paper. With the 11 by 14, you will have to fill in the top and the bottom, which is pretty simple on this one. You just kind of put in the ears and the point on the bottom. But yeah, I usually have those two traceables available. And if for any entrance you are using a different size canvas and you would like a traceable for a different size, feel free to message me in Patreon, and it's really easy to size it differently, and I can just create one really quickly. And that is also a perk of being a patron. For our supplies, so you have the canvas, and I explained why I'm not pre-painting it black. I have my paper towel, my palette, my water. I will pull out my brushes as I use them, but my go-to brush for backgrounds and bigger parts is going to be my filbert. I tend to like using filbert rather than the flat brush because it's easier to blend, in my opinion. I don't get the corner edges streaks as much. And then let's see, your favorite foliage brush, which I'll probably be using just a small round brush. And then I have a few other brushes that I'll probably use, like a small filbert. But again, I'll tell you what I'm using when I'm using it. These are kind of the general ones that I typically have on hand. And then of course a liner brush if you would like to use detail, but it is up to you. Use what you have. I'm all about that. For our colors, I have a bunch of different colors. I don't really know if I'm going to be using all of them, but I have them out just in case. So I'm going to have out my yellow. These are all Hippie Crafter acrylics. These are all full body acrylics, so don't get confused by the tiny little bottles. They are full body. They're not the soft body acrylic like craft stuff. They are full body. So I have my yellow, I have my orange, I have red just in case I want to get some darker tones in the sky, and then I have pink, which I also have a magenta rather than the rose just because I'm almost out of this one. Well, technically I'm almost out. I have a whole nother thing that I just haven't opened. So there's that. So I have my my pink. Any pink is fine. It doesn't necessarily matter. And then I have violet, which is actually very, very dark purple. I think I'm gonna do either phthalo blue or ultramarine. It doesn't necessarily matter. I think I actually might get my ultramarine blue. Maybe, I don't know. I really like having phthalo blue, but ultramarine blue I feel like fits this color scheme better. So the only difference pretty much is that phthalo blue is green hue and ultramarine blue is more of a bluey blue, a blue hue. Say that 5 times fast. Blue hue. Nope, not gonna happen. So it just kind of depends on the color hint hue that you want. So I think I'm gonna do ultramarine blue. I tend to favor the phthalo blue a lot. And then you have your black and your white. And just in case I want to tint anything, I do have my brown out. But that is, there are colors that if you don't have them, that's fine. Like if you don't have your orange, you can use your yellow and red. If you don't have purple, you can mix your pink and your blue. Like you don't need all of these colors. They are just nice to have, so that you don't have to mix as much, but it's up to you. Let's see, anybody said hi. Hello, Allison. Hello, Paulette. Welcome in. It's been such a long time since I've seen you, Paulette. I mean, I guess I don't like see you right now, but it's been a while. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I think that's it. I have a few announcements. So I haven't made a graphic yet for it, and I want to post it on my Facebook, but I am trying to push to get 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're watching this for the first time or you've been watching for a while, please hit subscribe if you like the content. And if you've been watching for a long time and you've been subscribed for a long time, feel free to share this content. It really does help get it out. And if you are already subscribed and you don't want to share, just like the video and comment. I don't know why, but the algorithm, when you interact with the video, it tells YouTube that you enjoy the content and that it's like, oh, maybe more people will, and it pushes it out to more people. So it really does help me. It's a free thing that you can do. It's really simple. Just like, comment, whatever, and it really does help in the long run. So I thank you and I appreciate you all, and thanks for being here. 2 Patreon things real quick. In my Patreon, as a part of the highest tier, we are working on a painting, and this is so far what we've done. We've done 2 sessions on this, and we are finishing up. I think it'll only take 1 more, but I'm trying to figure out if I want to buy a neon pink to brighten up these clouds, because right now they're like a tad bit orange, and I want them a bit more pink. Well, actually, it looks more orange in the they're more pink in real life, but even more pink, and I'm just like, oh, maybe I should do it. So if you guys know a good brand of like fluorescent neon pink, let me know in the comments and I will check it out, because I'm really tempted to buy a neon pink to make them even brighter. And then also in my Patreon, we also did a couple, I don't have the big one right now, but we also painted these neon lights. So if you like neon lights, if you like northern lights and the Aurora Borealis paintings, you'll definitely want to try this technique, and that is also in my Patreon at the magenta $10 tier. Okay, and that's pretty much all. I don't really have any more announcements, so let's get going. Hopefully that gave you all enough time to prep your canvas. I think what I'm going to be doing first is just going over this whole, it might as well go over the whole thing in black. Not the whole thing, but the whole outside, the whole outer edge in black. And that way, when I go over it with all of the color, I'll only need to go over a little bit of the black, and most of it will already be colored. So that is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to grab my black, and now I'll have like a clear outline for my thing. And if you're wondering, well, won't it still be wet by the time we try to paint it? We have a lot of colors to mix, so by the time we're done mixing colors, our black should be dry, and if not, we can wait a few more minutes, or you can get a hair dryer, but I tend to not do that in my classes because it's really loud and I don't have someone to, like, you know, give it to. It's just me here. Okay, I'm gonna grab this black and I'm just going to paint everything around my outline, okay? And someone else said hi. Hello, Donna. Welcome in. So I'm going to grab a small brush so that I can get in all these creases. And I'm going to do that first. And who knows, we might need to do a second coat of this, so it might be really good that we do our first coat here and now, so that we can come in with that second coat later. And essentially, if you don't want to do a second coat, you just have to lay it on really thick, which isn't necessarily always the best thing. So use whatever brush you are most comfortable with. And I'm just focusing on the outline right now. And you can also go back and forth, like let's say I did that and now I want to continue adding black to the rest of this. Who knows? I think I actually might. So I have Stuart Semple's Blackest Black, which, like, if you've ever had it, you'll know that it's like a matte velvet black. It's so weird, and it's like, I'll have to show you. Maybe I'll use that on the background after we end up going through it all, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. It's so crazy. So I'll do this, and then once we're done with the actual wolf, I'll paint half of it his black, and I'll show you the difference. Now I'm really excited because not a lot of people know about it. And the reason that it's the Blackest Black is because of its like velvety nature. It doesn't reflect the light. And so because it doesn't reflect light, there's nothing like makes it light. It's just black, very, very black. The only other painting that I used it with was I did a painting kind of like this, except it was a Mandalorian helmet, and I was using his like silver and gold because I wanted to try them out, and I was like, okay, what can I do? So then after that, after I did the silver and gold of the helmet, I used the Blackest Black on like the black part of it, and it was just so cool. So cool. Alright, so I'm kind of going back and forth between my big brush and my small brush. And because I am planning on doing a double coat of this black, which I think is a good idea. Even if I wasn't doing the blackest black. I know because I'm doing the second, I know I'm doing a second coat. I don't feel the need to like make it perfect. Which is always a nice feeling when you're painting. You're like, okay, I can be a little bit loose with this. Not necessarily even loose, it's just I can see some painting stuff over here and that's okay. Like I don't need to make it, you know, perfect. Man, problems that teachers only have. There's like a mic that's like right here. You can kind of see it in the view, like it's right here. And like I can't see the corner of my. I see it like through this mesh thing, like trying to duck around it. I'm trying to not move it any higher because if it's higher, then you can't hear me as much. And I recently had someone say, "Oh, can you turn it up?" And that kind of means move it closer. Because if I turn it up too much, then it gets really gainy. Someone who doesn't understand sound probably means nothing to you, but it doesn't sound as good. Let's just put it that way. I almost made it. Almost made the whole thing without getting more paint. Don't forget the bottom of your canvas, if you have a bottom to your canvas. If you're using a panel, then you don't have to worry about it. Or if you're on paper. All right, so there we have the base of it. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse out my brush, my brushes. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and mix our colors, okay? And we're going to work on mostly the orange colors, but we can make the other ones too. There's not very many colors in this. There's the kind of reddish pinkish orange at the top, and there's like a yellow orange, a reddish, a purpley color, and then our blues down here. You can honestly pick whatever colors you want. Like if you want to use different colors, I did find that I liked this color combo. I tried changing around the colors when I was creating it a bunch, but I did enjoy the bright orange colors. But it's totally up to you. If you have a color scheme that you would like to go off of, feel free to change the colors up. Yeah. So let's go ahead. I'm going to tell you how to make these colors specifically. And I'm going to, for the background, I'm going to do pink. I'm going to have a little bit of pink in there, and yellow. And I'm going to get out my orange, just as like a base, I think. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and use my handy dandy palette knife. I love this thing. It is the smallest one that came in a pack I got a long time ago, and I use it like every single class for my paint mixing. Super helpful. So I'm going to, can you see all my colors? There we go. Alright, so here are my colors. I'm going to grab this orange. Oh, and I'm also going to need white out here. I'm going to add a little bit of this pink and a little bit of yellow to keep it bright. Because by adding that pink, it's going to kind of make it darker. So I'm going to add more pink and more yellow. And I'm going to add more pink, and I'm going to add some white so I can see this color a little bit brighter. Alright, I'm really liking this color. I do want to have 3 tones to it. So essentially you have like the darker part, the medium tone, and then kind of the tone that's like right around the moon. And I think this is probably a good tone for the dark part. Maybe this plus this pink. Okay, so I have this color plus pink, so it's kind of a bit more of like a, it's a really pretty color. It's like pinkish purple, but orange also. And then I have this, and I'm going to change some of this color with this yellow and a little bit more white. Alright, so we have a softer color, and I think I might add even more. Well, I think it's probably fine. Okay, I probably mixed too much color, but that's fine because I'm also going to be using it down here, and I want to have those colors readily available. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more yellow up here, which I'm going to grab some white and a tiny bit of this orange and mix together to try to get a fairly bright orange yellow color. Alright, so currently I have my 3 shades of orange. I have kind of this reddish purpley orange, the dark orange, so I have the red orange, the dark orange, the light orange, and then this bright yellow orange, which again is just a tad bit of that orange plus yellow, and I'm going to go even more white, I think. Is the video on? Is what video? I mean, should be. The video is on. At least she paused it. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe my palette knife off, which I'm just gonna stick this in between my paper towels and just wiggle it, pull it out. Is it working for anybody else? If you are here and you've been painting along with me, can you comment and let me know it's working for you? Okay. Oh, how odd. That's weird that it didn't start for you. I'm sorry. Well, the only thing that I've done, and you can, I believe on even though I'm live, you can back it up if you want to. The only thing that I've done is I've gone around and made it black. I did go over a few things of like how to draw it and stuff. But right now we're just mixing color. So if you want to go back and try to catch up, feel free to do that. Or you can wait until we're done and then you can just, you know, go through it at your own pace. Yeah, I'm sorry that happened. That's a bummer. Okay, so I have I'm gonna call this my red, my dark orange, my light orange, and then my yellow. Okay, I think that's that's what I'm gonna call them. So let's go. Ooh, just got buzzed. Okay, this is why I turned my phone on silent, because it was like in my pocket buzzing at me. Okay, All right, so that is pretty much all the colors I need for now. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the lightest parts first. So we're going to do the moon, and then we're going to work our way out. And all of this is dry for me, so it should be dry for you, hopefully, if we're going at the same speed. So I'm going to go ahead and take my large brush. Oh, actually, before I start, because I'm going to be going over all of this and I don't want to have to worry about going around the sky, I'm going to get out my Ultramarine Blue and I'm just going to go over it. I realize we should have done that before we mixed colors, but that's fine. So I'm mixing my black with some ultramarine blue to get it kind of darker. And I'm going to just cover up this. Specifically just the wolf. But if you want to do the whole cliff too, because it's all the same color, then that's fine. Oh no, my palette knife just rolled into my blue. So try to do a pretty thin coat so that it's not going to take too long to dry. But we do need to make sure that it is completely dry before we move on to doing our background. Alright. And while we're here, in order for this to dry, I'm just going to go ahead and continue on doing the cliff, just to give the top a little bit more time to dry. And we're going to have to do 2 coats of this anyways, so might as well do it now. So there's that. I'm gonna go ahead and rinse out my brushes. Hopefully that will dry quickly. There's actually a few ways that we can do the moon. We can paint it and then kind of work out from there. And then the other option is that we can cover up this circle with like tape or something, paint the background, paint the orange color, and then peel off that tape and then put in the moon. What would you guys prefer? What's a way that you haven't done it before that I can teach you how? So let me know, from the people who are here live, let me know which way you would prefer. Would you rather paint in the moon first and then kind of go around it? Or would you like to put tape on it and then paint the background and then peel the tape off and then put the moon in? Let me know in the comments below how you want to be taught how to do this, okay? I'm just going to clean up my station. Okay, we have one for tape. I have not done the tape before. Okay, yeah, let's do the tape then. Let me grab my tape. So just, I would suggest using painter's tape. Normal, like Scotch tape and things like that, tend to not stick to canvas very well. So let me just see how big. Okay. So on any flat surface, just go ahead and build up. I'm going to do it on a piece of tape so that you guys can see what I'm doing. So pretend this is my flat surface, right? I'm going to build up the tape and then I'm going to eventually cut around it. Now again, if you had a circle that you used for your moon, then just use that same circle to use that same circle to draw on a circle onto your tape, and then you can just cut that out. Since I am using something that is round for this, I'm just gonna eyeball it. So let me show you what I'm doing. So essentially I have this here, so I can show you. I have this. Now I can see, let me go back to them. It'll be easier to see. So I can see that it's just a little bit smaller. I don't know if you can see that with the light behind it. So I can see that it's about a centimeter smaller than my circle. So I'm just gonna eyeball it, because again, we're gonna paint it in. So if anything, you want to eyeball it a tad bit smaller, so that if you need to fix the circle once you start putting in the moon, you can do that without making it a lot bigger than it was supposed to be. Where'd my pencil go? Okay, so I'm just going to roughly, now you can do this on whatever surface. I'm just doing it on this so I can pick it up and move it, so you guys can see it. I'm just gonna eyeball it, and I'm just using it's actually really nice to be on here because it's already got that circle and I can move it. It's actually kind of nice. I do this more often. Alright, so now I have drawn on my circle. I can't really, it's not really adjusting. See if it adjusts. Sometimes it adjusts and sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. Okay, so I have a circle here. I've drawn on. And I'm gonna go ahead and take off this tape here. I'm gonna pull from the bottom one, the one that's on the bottom. And I'm just going to peel that off. So now I have this, and I'm just gonna cut around this circle. Try not to touch the back of it too much because you really do want it to be sticky enough that it sticks on there. And if you need to cut big pieces off, then you can do that too. Don't feel like you need to do it all in one go. Alright, so then once you have this all, whoa, just got my scissors apparently wanted to get artsy. Once you have this, you can just kind of look at it and make sure that it's got no like corners or anything like that. Right? It's pretty good. I can tell that there's a slight corner here, but not enough to change. Okay. So I'm gonna resize this to here, and it is a bit bigger, so I think I'm gonna take a little bit more off of it. Now you can do this either by redrawing on it, or you can just eyeball it and just try to take the same amount off the entire edge. Alright, so that is a little bit better. This is where painting like starts to feel really artsy because you're like cutting tape and drawing. Alright, so this is better. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick this on in the general area. And you really want to make sure that all the edges are stuck down as much as possible. Okay. And once you have that, we can go. Don't push too hard because you don't want to like indent it. But now I'm going to take my white and put it around the outside of it. Just white, plain white. And now I'm going to go into my yellow, and on the outer edge of where that white is, I'm going to put it, and now I'm going to blend that in to the white that was put on there. And if it got too dark, then you can always come back with some white. And it is important that we do this fairly quickly because we want all this to really blend in with each other. So I'm going to go back around with my white. Just around that, okay? Now I'm going to go back into my yellow, my orange, my yellowish orange color. Put a little bit more. And when I'm going around it, I really am turning my whole hand so that the brush stays like the same direction all the way around. Now I'm going to start to go into that darker color. And I'm not going to worry about trying to stay inside. I'm not worrying about trying to stay inside the wolf. That's why we painted it black, so that we didn't have to worry about it. And you're just going to slowly add more color, blending it as you go. Once you blend two colors, you can't go over the threshold of the next one. So when I'm blending the orange and the yellow, I'm not going to go past a certain point into that white. And now that I've changed to like a darker red color, I don't want to go past a certain point. Oops. As I'm like putting pink on there. I'm going into the darker color red, like the reddish one. And I'm blending it. The more times you go over it, the more it's going to blend. And now I'm going to go into kind of the purpley one. It definitely looks more red on camera, then maybe I want it more. I'm hesitant to do another coat because it's more red than I like anticipated it. I think I like it though. I can't tell. I kind of want it pink though. Let's see what happens when I add pink to all these colors. I'm just gonna go for it. Actually, before I do that, I'm gonna do one coat on the bottom just so that it's consistent. So I'm going to rinse out my brush. I think I'm gonna attempt to change the color. If you like your color, you don't need to do this, but I think I'm going to change it just so that it's a little bit more pinkish rather than, like, it looked on my palette, it looked more pink than it did when I put it on the canvas. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you put things on and then you're like, that's not as whatever color that I thought it was. So I'm gonna go ahead and I put white down the middle. I'm gonna put yellow on the side. And then I'm just gonna go back and forth and mix it together a little bit. Come back in with your white if you need to. I'm gonna come in with my orange and pull over from the other side. I'm gonna pull in from this side. I'm just kind of like allowing it to not blend perfectly. Just trying to make sure that everything's like somewhat level. Technically, you don't need to go down that far because there's bushes and stuff, but and if you need to come back in with some light, you can always do that. Just make sure you rinse off your brush and you come back in with your white and your yellow. Okay, I do think I want to change my color a little bit. It's not as like pink as I anticipated it. So I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to add pink to all of these. And then I'm going to add white to all of them because I do think it's also like darker. We're just going all out, okay? Plus we have time. But honestly, that's also just part of painting. Sometimes you do something and it doesn't turn out how you anticipated it. So you try again and you try something a little bit different. All right. I think I'm going to try again. I think I'm going to like this color better. So I'm going to get out my yellow again. I'm going to do the same thing I did before by mixing a little bit of white and a little bit of pink, or whatever that color was, with it. And that's going to be that first color. Okay. So again, if you like the color combo that you did and you don't want to change it, you don't need to. For me, I feel like it wasn't as pink as I then I wanted it to. So I've made that adjustment. I'm going to go in with the same technique, same thing. I'm going to start with my white. I'm going to go into my yellow. And I'm going to try to just kind of ignore what's behind it. Go in with my pink. And I'm just going to slowly tint . I definitely like that color better. I am going to do this a little bit darker. Okay. So I still have to do the bottom a little bit because I did change the color. So I'm just focusing on bringing that pink into the picture. And then I can come back in with my white, just like I did before. Like that. I'm kind of just flicking my brush out away from the center. All right. Before we take off the moon, we are going to put in some stars. So go ahead and get out your favorite brush or toothbrush for this. I tend to use a toothbrush when I'm wanting like really small stars, and then I'll use a different brush if I'm wanting some bigger stars. So I'm gonna use this one for a general flick, and maybe some of the flick down here in like the sparklies of the reflection on the water. And then I'm gonna come back and put in some bigger ones, okay? So I'm gonna get a little bit of water, get some white, and you're gonna wanna make sure your consistency is good. So if you don't know what consistency that looks like, it comes with time and practice. There's not really a this much water plus this much white. No, you get used to what it's supposed to look like. If it's too watery, then it might drip, and if it's too thick, then you're either not going to get any stars, or it's just going to slap on a big glob of paint. So you don't want either of those. You can test it out on your palette, and then now, if you got any on your water, go ahead and just slightly brush it over. And then you can brush any of the ones you got on the black. Just kind of brush them out. It's okay if it's like, if it makes it white, that's totally fine. You just don't want dots that you're gonna have to cover up later. So this part's gonna look, this is the ugly stage. 100% this is the ugly stage. So all right, so then I'm gonna use a little bit right here to get a little bit of randomness. But I do want it a little bit more directed. So now what I'm going to do is first I'm going to rinse out my toothbrush. Put that aside so I can clean it later. And then I'm going to get the back end of a small brush of mine with that same concoction of white. I'm just going to put it in certain parts of my sky and my water to look like it's sparkling. Okay. Now I'm going to put a couple up here. And then I'm going to put a star in here, a shooting star. So I'm going to grab that same white and I'm going to, if you have your hand on your easel and you rest your arm on it and you move from your elbow, keeping that anchor point on your wrist, you can create a pretty nice curved angle without like moving. So now that I have my ankle, I can just define it more. And if you want to do the starburst, you can. I'm just using white. And I'll need to let this dry before I can really put any other layers on. So while that dries, I'm gonna go ahead and peel off my tape. Ta-da! It's beautiful. All right. So now I can go in with my white and yellowish hues. Fill in this area. And this is where you can add some different colors to your moon. Honestly, didn't mean to add that that bright red, but honestly, I kind of like it. It was just I wiped my brush off and then accidentally there must have been paint on my paper towel that transferred, which that's totally fine. We're not really going for realistic in this painting, are we? All right. So then you're just going to create craters with color and kind of just do your own thing. I do feel like there's like a flat spot on this side right here, so I'm just currently trying to fix the illusion of that. Even though I don't think there's a flat spot, but for some reason it looks like there's. Okay, that's better. All right, so that's good. All right, that's pretty much that. I'm gonna fix my comet. I don't think I'll make it white once it's still not dry. So now we get to do the other colors. Okay, so I'm gonna do like a yellow for the back one. I'm gonna do this back here. And I'm going to move to like a pink maybe. I'll probably have to do 2 coats of this yellow one. It's either paint it white beforehand or do 2 coats. Can't really do one or the other. But I'm gonna come in from the sides and put a little bit of pink. Maybe I'll just leave it like that. I kind of like it. Now I'm gonna come over the top with some red, and I'm gonna add just a tiny bit of black to this red. To make it a little bit darker. I really enjoyed adding like texture to this one, so like coming back over and like when it's like a little bit dry and just like adding some of the other color and letting that canvas texture show through. Alright, so now we're going to do a purpley one. Purpley pink. I'm going to get out my purple. Just the tiniest bit because it's not going to take much. I have my pink and my purple. That's going to make this really pretty color. work on adding some of the darker purple to the sides. I'm going to take some of my brighter pink and add it to the middle here. Alright. That is pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and add, I'm going to go ahead and make a really dark blue. And this is going to be my blue, black, and the purple, like the rest of the purple that I have on here. So again, that's ultramarine blue, dark purple, and black. And I'm just gonna put the general shape that I want. And since this is already like covered up with paint, I am going to do the outline of this just so that I can tell where it is. When I go back over it with black. Okay. I'm going to take my small brush, so my small round brush, and just with this, I'm just going to add little tops of like leaves, poking up. You can add a lighter hue like right behind it if you want, just to add like a different dimension, but totally up to you. And try to add the leaves going in all sorts of directions and not just one direction. And then don't forget to add them over here. You can dab it on, you can swipe it on. I'm really letting my brush kind of do all the work. All right. Let's go ahead and put our little guy back in. I'm going to take this same color but brighten it up with some blue and a tad bit of white, just ever so slightly, some white. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. And I know you probably can't see it, but I can still see my little wolf. Hi, Lincoln.
Can we come out?
Can you give me about 20 minutes? I'll come and get you, okay?
I want to be quiet here.
Yeah, can you go back to your room, please?
I want to be quiet.
Go back to your room, please.
Okay.
Thank you. For all of you wondering who that was my son. I usually do classes while they are in quiet time. And most of the time, the girls are napping and Lincoln is playing with Legos. But today, my middle child, Liberty, she fell asleep around like, oh gosh, it must have been like 11. Just her sister, or her big brother and her had a sleepover last night, and so her blanket was in his bed. She just climbed up onto his bed and fell asleep. I didn't know for about like half an hour or an hour until I made lunch. I was like, where is Liberty? Where is she? And then I found her. She was sleeping. So I could wake her up or I could just let her sleep. I think she's been sick and kind of coming down with something. Hi, Lincoln.
I think Liberty wants you.
Okay, well, I can't come to her right now. I will come get you in 20 minutes, okay?
Are you done?
Nope, I'm not done.
Are you almost done?
I will come get you in 20 minutes. Go, please. Thank you.
Liberty wants to hold you.
Okay, I will come and hold her in 20 minutes. Anyway, so she fell asleep. So usually she's sleeping at this point. But they've been awake this whole time, so. Alright, give me 1 second. They're still in my room. I know you want to hold me. But I'm in the middle of a class. My apologies. So in case you didn't know, I am a mother of 3 young children. And sometimes life just happens. Sometimes you just gotta take care of the kids. Alright, so you can color it in with one solid color. You can do a couple colors, like different shades of blues. I kind of chose to do like a blue-gray and make it a little bit lighter here, like in the front, almost like it's getting like the light part of it, like it's reflecting the light a little bit. Alright, and I think that is pretty much it. I think that's it for the actual inside of it. Now the rest of it looks kind of messy at this point, but it's a really easy cleanup because we did that pre-black. So I'm just going to take my black and do another fairly thin coat. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the edges though, because I think that's really what I need. Now remember, I'm gonna do the simple Stewart blackest black. So if I was doing this, if I wasn't doing that, then I would probably go a little bit heavier on my black. But right now I'm just trying to get it all roughly the same color so that when I go over it with the blackest black, it'll have like the same base essentially to work with. I'm gonna slightly bring up the color of this bottom section, just the very bottom part of it, because you can't really see the black outline on the bottom, and now you can. So I really like how this is turning out. So now I'm going to rinse out all my brushes, and I'm going to show you what this black does. What's really nice about these bottles is that if I see any paint that's left untouched, wow, why is it so bright? Oh my gosh, has it been like that the whole time? It's like so bright, but now it's really bright here. Whatever. Anyways, what I was saying is that if there's any paint that's left untouched that I can like save and it's not dried out yet or anything like that, I'll just put it back in the bottle, save it for another day. And this pink is almost like done, and I almost want to save that pink. There's so much paint. Okay, let me get the black black and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so this is what it comes in, and open it up, and this is black 3.0, and if you look at it, it just looks like normal like paint. I mean, the whole bottle is very, very black, but if you look like in here, it just looks like regular black paint, but it's not. So let me show you. I'll mix it up. I'm hoping I'll only need to do one coat of this. It's so cool. I can't wait. Okay, first I'm going to go around the edges and just do like the sides of the canvas. It's weird putting it on the canvas. It's almost like it's so black it's blue. Alright, and while the bottom dries, I'm just going to start doing this part. And when it's wet, you're not going to notice a difference. It's after it starts drying that it starts drying like this like matte color. And you start really seeing the effects of it. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this side, because right now you can see that it's reflecting the light, and that's black. It's black. But it's not as black as it's going to be. You need to mix it up just a little bit more. I have the blackest black 1.0. I was underwhelmed. Okay, my golden black gesso is better. Happy to see an example of the 3.0. I definitely don't have anything to compare it to in terms of other versions of it. I just know last time I used it, and like after it dried, I was just like amazed at how black it was. And I really do think it's like the velvety nature of it, because it just doesn't reflect light. Okay, Liberty, thanks for letting me know. My daughter was informing me that it's getting late outside because it's getting dark out. I'm so close to being done. My kids definitely need me though. Alright, this is the last little bit. Oh my gosh. Oh no. I think she just hit her head. You slipped. Do you want to watch me? Do you want to sit in bed and watch me? I'm almost done, okay? You don't want to? Okay. I'm almost. Take a big breath. Can you give me 5 more minutes? Can you give me 5 more minutes and then I'll come out and change it for you? Alright, I think I got 5 more minutes under my belt and then I'm gonna need to call it. So, let me I really just have just this little tiny bit. And then alright. I'm going to make this a little flatter. Alright. Now, this part is still a little bit wet, so you're still getting a tiny bit of reflection. But, so those are the parts that are wet. But you can see the parts that are dry are starting to really darken up. So while that dries, I'm gonna go, because I want you guys to be able to see this before I'm done. So I'll be back in like 2 minutes. I'll be back in like 2 minutes because I'm gonna go put some TV on for the kids. Because Liberty was asking very, very nicely. and then hopefully a lot of it will be dry by then. Okay, so I will be right back. For anyone who else needs to leave, that is totally fine. You don't need to stay for it. But obviously, if you want to see it all dried, I might take an air dryer to it after I get back. So if you want to see the result, feel free to stay. If not, thank you so much for joining me. I have a artist community where you can show me your work. I would love to see it. I'm going to get that for you right now. It's also on the screen down below. It's the Facebook group. So if you did it tonight, I would love to see it. I will be posting mine soon after this dries, and then you can post it there. So here's the link for that. I will be coming back in just a few minutes so I can dry this for you guys so you can see the difference. And then I'll end the class there. Okay, so I'll be right back. Hello, hi Allison, you finally caught up. Yeah, it's pretty much the end of class. You don't need to stay for the rest of this. I ended up putting blackest black. I ended up putting blackest black on here just to see how it looked. So you don't have to stay for that, but I am gonna go do something with my kids, and then I will be right back to air dry it and finish up drying it. Okay, I'll be right back. All right, let's see how this is. It's still wet. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this to the bathroom so I can dry it real fast, and so you guys can see the result, okay? right, so this is the result. I will say that I can see, because of the nature of it and its like velvetiness versus the other acrylic that ends up being more glossy, I can see that because I was painting black on black, I could see that I did miss a couple spots, so I'll probably paint over some of this before I call it finished. And I can really see the parts that I don't know if you can see it on screen. So you can see right here I kind of missed an area, and you can see the part it's reflecting and it's not reflecting this. So that's the difference. And then over here, I think when I was doing it, it was I think I still had other black paint on my brush, so it was mixing with that. So it's like, so you can see that this part is a little bit like half velvet and half not, and then this part is pretty much, by the time I got all the way around here, there wasn't any in my brush anymore. And so that's why you can see some of the reflection here in this black and not over here. So this is, I mean, that's pretty cool. So like in terms of like, do you remember how dark this was? See, look at how dark this is. This bottom part, it's like a very dark blue black. But when you put it towards the light, look how dark this still is. It's still black, while this is reflecting all that light and it's bright. So you can still see the outline of it because it's like a different texture essentially. How cool is that? Look at that. Isn't that cool? So obviously I still do have some touch-ups to do it probably before I post it tomorrow, but like just looking at it, it's so dark. It's so cool, and it's really cool in person because it's like, it feels so nice. I don't know what it is. It's, yeah, I don't know. It's fun. But yeah, so that is this. I'm not sponsoring it or anything like that. I'm not sponsored, whatever. I like using it whenever I can. So I was like, oh, this is black. So yeah, so that's essentially what it is. Let me know who is it? Cheryl, I think. Cheryl, let me know if there's like a big difference in it, because obviously I don't have the 1.0. I've only used the 3.0. So let me know if there's like a difference in like how black it is. Now obviously, like I still have to do some of the touch-ups with mine, because mine wasn't, I think I forgot to clean off my brush before going over there, and then you can tell right here that I just kind of completely missed that area. It's still like super shiny, but yeah, isn't that so fun? Thank you. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Thank you so much for painting with us tonight. You are welcome. Thanks for painting with me. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. My kids need me. What and where do you get that black? This black is Stuart Semple, which I think is Culture. Here, let me look it up real fast and I can post a link. I can also, if you just look up blackest black, it should come up, but I can also post a link real fast because I'm already here. I might as well. All right, blackest black 3.0. All right, this is, here's the link. All right, so there's the link. I'll post a link. I wonder if they have it on Amazon, because that might be easier for people to get. I don't think they sell it on Amazon. I think I've looked. No, he doesn't sell it on Amazon. Okay, so yeah, you can only get it from that website. But yeah, it's pretty cool. They have a bunch of other really cool supplies now that I'm thinking about it. They have like glitter stuff, and they have gold and silver. They have mirror. I forgot to post it. Liberty has this like little vanity thing. It's from like the Dollar Tree. And they have a place where like a mirror would go, but obviously there's not anything that was reflective. So I painted with the mirror paint, and now it's like reflective. It's so cool. He's got a really cool collection of things. But anyways, I will stop talking. My kids need me. I need to go. Talking about art stuff is fun, but being a mom is also fun, and I need to go be a mom right now. So thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you post your stuff. I probably am not going to take a picture and post it until I do the second coat, which will probably be later tonight, and then I'll post the official thing on Facebook tomorrow with all the links, okay? So thank you so much, and we will see you next time. Bye, guys.